We are a group of co-production volunteers from Leeds Mind working on a suicide prevention project as part of the wider suicide prevention work in West Yorkshire. We all have lived experience of being impacted by suicide. We are speaking directly to staff on the front line and their managers and leaders about our personal experiences of secondary mental health services. We would like to share some of our thoughts about good practice in secondary mental health from our perspective of lived experience. We want to work with you so you can be informed of the impact of lived experiences to make the mental health system in West Yorkshire work in the best way it can for future clients and families.
I cannot emphasise enough how important it is to believe people when they share that they're struggling with their mental health and considering suicide. If a person shares that they have an active plan, it's imperative that something is done with the person to put some support in place. Please do not send them away with nothing. I myself have been in this position and found it incredibly distressing to, in essence, not be believed and consequently be sent away with no support. Please work with me and others to understand our story and help us to stay safe for now.
We discussed what good practice feels like during appointments from a client's perspective. Here is some of what we came up with.
Feeling like I've been heard, which basically is holding space for somebody, which means that you reserve any judgment, any comments, any things that come into your mind as a professional that you might need clarification on, put them to one side so that you're focused on that person and the person is able to talk out their feelings and that they don't feel rushed and that you're not just sat there going, right, a tick box. It is that you're holding space and allowing that person to really open up. And by doing that, you're building up this trust and faith because you know that you're able to be vulnerable with this person because they're actually listening to you and holding space and waiting for you to finish and pause.
Let's talk about reflecting and clarifying.
And then when you do pause, that there is enough time then for the professional then to repeat back to you a gist of what has been just said. So because we are sharing what's in our hearts and in our minds, and if we have suicide ideation or we have thoughts of suicide or feeling alone, social isolation, we are being vulnerable, and to be vulnerable and to be so open with somebody, we need to know that we can do that, and that is that trust, and that is why holding space is so important, that the professional is there and we are their sole person there and they're not thinking about other things.
And what about helpful phrasing?
It can be helpful not to talk about hope, because to hear someone asking us, have we lost hope, or telling us to try not to panic just yet, can be really difficult to process. It brings up the worst feelings when people ask us about hope. Generally, we try and live day to day, and any thoughts of the future can be quite overwhelming.
To summarise, good practice during appointments from a client's perspective feels like holding space, being present with us and inviting us to speak openly. Staff with good practice will work with us to reflect and clarify during appointments, and we will phrase things thoughtfully to build trust and make us feel supported.